Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Homie Hector here, and today we got this 2016 Toyota Sienna that we're going to be doing spark plugs on. This van just went over the 100,000 mile mark, and it's in here for spark plugs. As you may or may not know, to do spark plugs on the Sienna, 3 of the spark plugs live right here in the front, 3 of the spark plugs live back there under the intake manifold. Now, this is a pretty standard procedure for V6 transverse mounted engines. So what we're going to be doing is removing the battery, removing the airbox, removing the intake manifold so that we can access the 3 plugs in the back. We'll do the 3 plugs in the front, pop a new intake gasket, and put everything back together in the reverse order. So we're going to run through this real quick. I'm going to set you guys down. 2016 Toyota Sienna 3.5 liter engine, spark plugs coming up. 1/4 inch Milwaukee cordless ratchet. Check the link in the description. I'm going to link all the tools down below so that you can find them easily. Alright, check that out. You can see how much more room we have just by removing the battery and the airbox. Now I think what we're going to do here is we're going to remove the intake and slide it over this way. And this way we don't have to remove the wiper cowl. On some designs you have to remove the wiper cowl. It has to come off, the wipers comes off, and the wiper cowl housing, all that chingadera comes off. But on here I think we can just lift it, slide it over to the right, then we can access the plugs and change these 3 right here, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, back here on this side is where one of the dreaded 12mm bolts lives at. You can't see it from here, but if you stick your hand back there, you're going to be able to feel it. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to get this 12mm that's on the bracket. There's another 12mm behind over there on that side on the bracket. Once you get those 2 off, everything is downhill from here. But those 2 can be a pain in the ass, so be ready for that. Alright, once these brackets over here are removed, I'm going to attempt to reach that 12mm on the bracket on that back side. Again, something you got to feel for. Can't really see it. And I can feel it right here, and there's a wiring harness in front of it. This harness that comes from here sits right in front of the bolt, so... So I'm going to try this first. 1/4 inch ratchet, 12mm socket. Now there's one bolt that's over here on top. attached to the manifold, the other bolt it's facing down, so I can get to either one, either the one that's facing down or the one that's facing this way, whichever one's easier. As long as I can get that bracket loose from the manifold, then I can just remove all these manifold bolts and I should be able to slide it that way. Cracked it loose. Okay, so this one sits on the back and it's bolted, I believe, to the head facing down. And there's one that's facing this way. You can also reach to it, but that one has a wiring harness in front of it. Might be a little harder to get to. So we're gonna see if with taking this one off, we can actually take off the manifold. Two little tans, one on the left, one on the right of the manifold. Highly recommend you get yourself a kit like this. This one is from Amazon. I believe it's from a company called Nyko. I'll find it. I'll put a link in the description for you guys. Pretty good kit to have. And I think what we need is a 5mm. Wait. Little hex. The bracket that's on this side attaches from the manifold down to the head. It's still attached to the manifold and it's binding on the coils or the harness that's down there. So I actually have to remove the bolt that goes to the manifold. This way I have the clearance to move this out of the way. Let's see. Okay. This right here is your little pain in the ass. So this is the way it goes, facing this way, and the bolt that I took off is the one that goes down into the valve cover or the head. So with this out, we should be able to slide that intake manifold that way. So let's try it out. There it is. So I've done a couple of these already, but there's one of the 12mm bolts. Here's the other one. That's what makes it a pain in the ass, but other than that, pretty straightforward. Beautiful. Now we have all this room to work with. I'm gonna do the back 3 plugs, being very careful with the connectors because these ignition coil connectors tend to break. They're plastic, they're brittle, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, snap. All right, so I'm gonna do the back 3. We're gonna run through it. Then I'm gonna do the front 3. We're gonna run through that. Then we're gonna pop everything back and finish this one off. Cool. guys, all that for 6 spark plugs and the upper intake manifold gasket. All we got to do right now is start it up, make sure that there's no vacuum leaks, make sure that it's running properly, make sure the check engine light doesn't come on, take it for a good test drive, and that's it for this one. 2016 Toyota Sienna, spark plugs with upper intake manifold gasket.